Hi everyone, my name is Jim Bob. I dedicated this channel to my love of movies, but the focus on my channel here is revisiting older classics while occasionally putting out a review of a newer release. If that sounds like your kind of thing, consider clicking that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Today I'm going to do a Vampire Diaries podcast, and you may recognise this voice any second now. Hello Chels.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me once again for
You're
another
welcome.
video. It's been a while. The last video we did together was a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer reaction. No, trailer thoughts, not trailer reaction. Anyway, so we're just going to talk about each season of the Vampire Diaries, what we think of it, what our favourite part of it was, and then we'll give you a rank of what it is at the end. Now, when I first watched this show, Chelsea was already in love with it. And I thought, I'm going to stay the hell away from this because it reminds me too much of Twilight. Stefan looks like Ed Wood, and just, forget this crap. I'm not even going to bother watching it. But as soon as I watched it, I thought to myself, wow, this actually has some incredible character building moments.
Yeah.
So right now we're going to go through each and every season bit by bit, give you a couple of points in each one, but we won't drag it out too long. Okay, then let's start with season 1.
Yeah, so obviously season 1 kind of is a bit more teen drama-y, and you do find it a bit like, oh god, they're staring at each other really intently. Like, they love each other already. I've grown old and a little bit older now. Not too old, don't judge. But I can kind of see how that kind of comes across as teen drama-y, and I can understand why Jim Bob was a bit reluctant to watch it. But I kind of did kind of go like, Vampire Diaries actually was a book first. It was, even though so was Twilight. But it came out so many years before Twilight. It's so different. It's more intense.
It's better. That's
It's
what
better.
it is. It's
yes.
a lot better. Okay. Yeah, so the thing which I thought was really cringy about the first episode in particular is that, like, there's a long awkward stare. Hey baby, I love you. And she's like, where are we? Okay, no, I'm just copying Scary Movie there. But just something like that. They're just looking at each other really weirdly, and then just how Stefan randomly turns up at this girl's house. I mean, personally, I'll shut the door in his face and call the fucking police. What the hell?
Yeah, I think obviously he turns up at a house. They obviously have this weird interaction in a graveyard, and you think, oh my god, what is this?
Because the graveyard is so romantic.
And all the fog, and you're like, ooh, what's happening? As a teenage girl, you're like, oh, so exciting. But like,
hot vampire boys.
but to be fair, it's really kind of odd to see when you are not a teenager anymore. But you gotta love them. They're great characters.
Yeah, but pretty much for me, it was only the first episode that was really cringy, and then when the story started kicking in, you get to know who all these characters. When you're introduced to characters like Caroline, her judgy personality. Tyler, he's got temper problems. Matt is just the typical school jock.
Yeah, you got Bonnie, who's a bit kind of scared to be who she's supposed to be, and Elena's just Elena.
But Elena is nowhere near as annoying as Bella Swan. I'm just going to put it that way.
She's got emotion in her.
She actually has emotion, and to be fair, Nina Dobrev is a fantastic actress.
Yeah, I think she did really well with obviously the portrayal of what they wanted, but yeah, I think each person that was cast was the right person. I couldn't imagine them being anywhere else.
No,
Anyone else.
I mean, especially when it comes to Ian Somerhalder as Damon.
Yes.
The guy's just a joy to watch him whenever he's on screen. I mean, literally, I piss myself laughing every time he just randomly appeared out of nowhere and dropped some kind of snarky comment to Stefan.
Yeah, I think obviously the fact that people kind of think vampire series films are supposed to be all this serious, and you watch Ian Somerhalder as Damon, and you're like, what the hell is this? Because it's not serious at all.
Literally. I mean, it's so weird that the fact that even I had a weird dream another one time where I went out on a night out drinking, and I was with Damon and I was with PewDiePie as well. I mean, that is like my dream drinking session, to drink with those two, just to get drunk with them and have a good time.
Yeah, I think they are great as the characters, and as the story unfolds, you find out more about what's going on. So, obviously, it is based in a place called Mystic Falls.
Yeah.
But I've read only one of the books. Sorry, I will read the rest of them. But it's called Fell's Church in the book. So
Fell's Church?
Yes, so they kind of umped it up a bit for the series, which I can kind of understand, and then they introduce these other kind of things going on. So usually in a typical vampire thing, nobody knows about the vampires except for the vampires, and yet you find out actually the people who run the town, so the sheriff, the mayor, they know about these vampires.
They do, yes, they know about them, and that was one of the most interesting things about the entire thing. Just the founder's story and that link to the vampires, the world of Mystic Falls itself, the tomb vampires, which is really interesting. How it like goes back and forth to different flashbacks. Now this show is a bit hit and miss with flashbacks. Sometimes
There is a lot.
Sometimes, yeah, there is a lot, but it's not like Arrow bad. I mean, Arrow's like, oh, this is what Oliver Queen was doing during that time. Like, no one gives a fuck. Here's the thing, though.
It ties in a lot.
It ties in, the story
sense.
comes full circle. Yeah, I mean, I know Arrow does that thing as well, but the Arrow flashbacks got a bit boring after season 2. But it's a bit hit and miss here. Like, sometimes they could be really interesting when it talks about the city's history and how the vampires came to be in the first place, and then further on in like later series, you get like flashbacks of this character interacting with this character, and you don't always
think it's relevant,
and you don't always care for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and obviously the main thing about season 1, right at the end, it's like a boom, isn't it? When they introduce this one particular person that I love, Catherine Pierce.
Now, Catherine Pierce is one of my favourite characters, also played by Nina Dobrev, and she's Lena's doppelganger.
I think that's what's great about Nina Dobrev as well. The fact is, they look exactly the same, obviously, because it's the same person, but the way she portrays Elena compared to the way she portrays Catherine is marvellous. Elena's this kind of, I'm sorry, she's a bit of a crybaby, whereas Catherine's this fierce vampire that's all on survival and will kill you with a second thought.
Yeah, Catherine pretty much looks out for herself as well. Yeah. But she's pretty ruthless, and to be honest, I prefer Catherine as a character to Elena, and Elena's like one of the main characters. She's probably the face of the show. But definitely. Yeah, Catherine's a more interesting character to me. So I'm going to jump towards just the finale and talk about a weapon that Jonathan Gilbert uses to kill all the vampires. It's a compass.
Well, it's John Gilbert.
Well, John Gilbert, yeah. It's a very interesting concept, but I think it's a bit cliche. I mean, how many more times has there got to be some kind of TV or film where, well, what TV? Movie or film where it shows...
Movie or series or film.
Series or film. Okay, this isn't scripted, by the way. Series or film where there's some kind of device which sets up some kind of sonic wave or a bioweapon or something which is going to kill a mass majority of people, in this case vampires. That's basically what this weapon does. It sends out some kind of sound wave through the air or for the whatever, and it gives vampires massive headaches and they die.
I think I do agree that it is a bit cliche. I think what made it more interesting was obviously you knew a lot of the tomb vampires would be affected and things like that, and they would die. But what made it more interesting was like all of a sudden the mayor was there, and you're like, why is he being affected? Why is his son being affected? And I think that's what kind of made it a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah,
was that it didn't just affect vampires, that it affected those characters as well, and we didn't know why.
Anything supernatural. Well, it didn't work on witches, did it?
No, I think it obviously because witches are part of nature, like, and they get their magic from nature. So technically, whatever those characters were, that like the mayor, whatever he was, and the vampires, they're not natural.
No,
so I think that's why they affected it. It's kind of like one of the spells the witches does on them, like tries to fry their brains.
Okay, well, we spent a solid probably 10 minutes talking about season 1, so we're gonna now done. So we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit for the rest of them, just the video's not too long. But if it is long and you do watch all of it, I do appreciate that.
Thanks.
So anyway, we're gonna move on to season 2 now, which is an absolute, well, it's a lot better than the first one, and it improves so much in
Yeah.
every aspect: characters, story, stakes, villains, everything.
I think obviously, especially with the characters, it's a lot of character developing, and you see, except for Elena, everyone develops in some way.
Elena just cries, and like the whole show revolves around her. Like, oh, Stefan has to save her.
Damon has to save her. No, they really don't.
And is she ever grateful about this stuff? She's like, no, I think I'm just going to go and die because I don't want to. I
I'm
don't
gonna
want you to go through this anymore.
sacrifice myself.
I want to take myself out of the equation. I'm like, God, they're not going to let you do that. They're just going to chase you down and get themselves hurt anyway. Why don't
Yes.
you just stay out of the trouble in the first place?
But she never does. So I think obviously, kind of what we realised from the first season. Obviously, the first part of season 2, Catherine was still the bad guy.
Yes, and she's actually a pretty damn good bad guy.
She is.
Like she, what is it? She said, told Stefan and Damon like game on or something like that.
Yeah,
And she's
when
always
she
one step ahead of them.
when she killed Caroline.
Yeah,
And
she
then
turned Caroline.
she turned Caroline did then because of that. But yeah, she's always like game on. She's always trying to one up them, and I think that's the thing with her. It's not that she wants to ruin their lives. She just wants Stefan. And
She wants Stefan,
she's
yeah,
never
and
gonna
she
have
has a pretty
Stefan.
good time playing games with people. Like, she's strong enough, obviously being probably like
She's
400 years older than
Yeah.
Stefan and Damon. I mean, the terms of vampires in the older the vampire is, the stronger they are. Catherine has 400 years on Stefan and Damon.
Yeah.
She could easily just kill both of them in an instant, but she likes to play games, which is what I really like about her. She's not just a mass murderer.
Yeah.
She's a mind manipulator. She's a
very
game player.
flirty with that, and kind of
Yeah, she turns on the charm.
tries to put a wedge in between the brothers, even though she's already done that before in 1864.
She just reckons she can do it again.
She's doing it again. Like, obviously they thought she was dead and she's not, so that obviously is like pissed everyone off.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
But obviously, what was most interesting about this series to me was the introduction to the original vampires, which eventually got their own spin-off. And first by seeing Elijah, I was like, okay, this guy's cool. And
yeah. The
I've
fact that
always
he,
liked Elijah since I first saw
yeah,
him.
the fact that he didn't die as well from what Damon did to him, he impaled him to a door,
And then
and that would
then
have
he
killed a
just
normal vampire.
Yeah, he just started moving again, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was an eye opener. Yeah, literally.
But obviously, what I'm going to address most about this show is that the highlight is going to be Klaus Michelson.
Yeah, obviously you just think he's like just a baddie. He's like the biggest baddie ever.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's great with it, with his like snide remarks, and he's like smirking, and it's just damn right sexy.
yeah, he is pretty sexy to be honest,
He is,
isn't
isn't it? And I think Joseph Morgan does a brilliant job at playing him. Like,
he? Yeah, I
can't
agree. Yeah.
imagine anything else.
It's like, imagine Klaus being played by one of the other actors in the show. I mean, even when Klaus, for example, because at the start of season 2, like Klaus was inside Alaric's body,
Yes.
and Alaric just had the same sort of personality, but it doesn't match as well with the actor who played Alaric than it does with the actor who plays Klaus.
Yeah.
When Klaus actually appears in person,
You can see it.
at first I'm just like, the guy doesn't look that menacing, but then when he starts
Ripping out people's hearts.
ripping at people's hearts and just he's doing his thing, he's absolutely ruthless.
And I think you soon learn that actually he's very selfish and it's all for him. He wants to be a hybrid. He's a vampire. He's had his werewolf side suppressed. But that's what he wants, and that's what came with the introduction of werewolves in it.
Oh yeah.
With the ritual. He literally didn't care. He just wanted to be able to unleash his werewolf side to make more hybrids.
That's all he wanted.
So
yeah.
he could have slaves.
And then this show decides to go, from adding an extra 10% on its quality and stuff to adding 100.
Yeah.
By introducing more stuff. I mean, sometimes you can think it could be a bit overwhelming by introducing hybrids and werewolves into one season for the first time, but it's really not. I think it's really well tied together.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously they used season 1 to kind of introduce us, get us used to things, but then
Yeah, that was
season
at the
2,
start of, yeah.
it was like a bam. They were like, yeah, we're going to give you hybrids, we're going to give you werewolves, we're going to give you the biggest baddie ever,
We're going to give you more of that shit, man.
we're going to give you like everything that you can think of. And like, you think it'd give you a headache at the end of it, but actually,
It's amazing.
It's spot on how they do it over 22 episodes.
But it's a shame that, for me in particular, the show didn't improve after this season. It's still really good. The future seasons are really good. And yeah, spoiler for my top ranking already, but it doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, so obviously, interesting character developments when it goes on to Bonnie, and the fact that she wants to bring Jeremy back to life, and she's testing her magic, and there will be consequences.
She's testing her ancestors as well, because it was her ancestors' magic, which obviously they're basically telling her, bitch, watch out.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so yeah, season 2 so far is a great season. Very sad death of Jenna. Great story.
Obviously, the ritual killed.
And like Klaus
and
just
a
made,
werewolf as well.
yeah, and actually Klaus made this season was 10 times better than he ever deserved to be. So season 2 is an absolute treat for us all.
And it gets a really gold star.
Okay, everyone. So I want to apologise in advance. It has actually been a month since we filmed season 1 and 2 because we were interrupted by certain family events. So I do apologise if the audio's slightly different, or if anything just seems a bit different, if we're a little quieter. We have to be quiet because everyone's in bed at the moment. So anyway, welcome back, Jels.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
No problem. So this is a month since we last filmed season 1 and 2.
Wow.
So season 3, basically, Klaus at the end of season 2 said to Stefan, if you come with me, I will cure your brother of Tyler Lockwood's bite. So at the moment, Stefan is with Klaus and Elena is all alone.
And if you're a little bit confused, Tyler Lockwood is a werewolf.
Yes, he is a werewolf at this point.
He bit Damon during his transition, and obviously that means he was dying. But Klaus, being Klaus, is very selfish. He's like, I want Stefan to come with me and be his Ripper days again.
Oh yeah, Ripper Stefan. Like pretty interesting arcs in the whole show. To be fair, between Stefan and his Ripper side, yeah, he's basically fighting inner demons. Except when he does turn his emotions off, which we'll get to that particular scene in a minute. It's actually like an inner war with his inner demons, but it's actually like a real life thing. Like his inner demons actually become him.
Yeah.
And that's what's really interesting about the vampire emotionless switch.
Yeah, it's kind of like they just snap their fingers and that's it. They turn off a light switch and it's gone. And obviously, that's the way it works for them when they don't want to deal with it. That's one of the perks, supposedly, inverted commas.
Yeah, it just makes you think, like, yeah, it's like
being a vampire.
actual character emotions in real life, like people's emotions in real life. If you could do that, turn your humanity off and not care about what anyone thinks or care about anything in general, would you do it? It's just interesting to think about. But anyway, I want to get to one of my points, which is one of the most probably epic scenes in this entire season.
Yes.
It's when Klaus forces Stefan to turn his humanity off. It was in the middle of Mystic High School.
Mystic Falls High School.
Well, what did I call it?
Mystic High School.
Mystic High, okay, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Mystic Falls High School, Klaus is slamming Stefan against lockers, shouting, turn it off, right in his face, and this incredible acting from Paul Wesley as he's like trying to hold back, trying not to turn it off. But he actually managed to defy Klaus a little bit because his emotions didn't turn off straight away. It took Klaus a couple of tries.
No, I think it was also the fact that his kind of love for Elena was kind of overriding his will to bend to Klaus's compulsion. Because by now we've figured out that actually Klaus is part of the Michelson family, which is the original family, which means that they're the start of all vampires. So it's like you build up and you find out all about his siblings. So you've got Klaus, you've got Elijah, you've got Rebecca.
Elijah's a badass.
Elijah is. You got Esther, which is his mom. You got Michael, who's his dad. You got all of his brothers and sisters, basically.
Cole's hilarious.
Cole is hilarious, but it kind of you're like, oh, there's more of them. There's how much more?
That's
and
it, yeah.
they can compel other vampires. And the fact that actually the reason why he wanted Stefan with him was because he knew him in the 20s when he was a Ripper.
Yeah, and he actually...
he fell in love with his sister Rebecca, and then Klaus compelled it all away.
Yes, that's it. He compelled Stefan to forget. That's why Stefan doesn't remember him.
Yeah.
Like this video if you want us to cover the originals one day as well.
I did a thumbs up if that helps.
Yeah, you can't really see us in this one.
But I just think it was so compelling of Klaus's actor, Joseph Morgan, the way he comes across is so ferocious.
Yeah.
He just wants his friend back. But Stefan's not like that.
He's doing it in a complete wrong manner. This is just how Klaus works. He'll do things to get what he wants, but he'll do it in such a dickhead way.
He's very selfish. As we said before in season 2, when he became a hybrid again, he's very selfish. So he's been travelling all around the country after undaggering his sister, who's been in a coffin for decades. He just... Anytime they piss him off, he daggers them. What? Like, what kind of family is that?
It's interesting, because what I like about Klaus's character is that they never actually... he does change, he does develop, but he doesn't change who he is at the same time. It's the same with Damon. Damon's always been the selfish brother.
There's nothing changing them.
There's nothing changing him. He is who he is, although there is great character development still in there. And it's amazing how the writers of the show can actually make characters develop but not actually change who they are at the same time.
Yes, definitely. I think obviously they develop in some ways but not in others, and it's kind of like a tug of war in most instances.
He's not just suddenly the bad guy and then he's redeemed. He redeems himself and becomes the good guy like most shows would. Like Klaus and Damon pretty much stay the same.
Yeah, but obviously you know for a fact that Klaus is just... You can't compare them in who's going to be the worst bad guy, if that makes sense.
I'll definitely Klaus if you ask me, but then again, Damon's done some really shitty things.
Yeah, exactly. I think obviously, Klaus overall, he makes the biggest impact on the group of main characters, but at the same time, Damon does whatever the hell he likes anyway.
Well, that's just Damon, isn't it?
He's the one that pushed his brother away in the first place.
It's like one of the lines which is constantly mentioned throughout the show. Damon was Damon about it, but that's or Damon's just being Damon. That's just who Damon is.
It's just being Damon. Yeah.
That's season 3 overall, a great season. So, hey guys, so quick disclaimer. I'm very sorry that the podcast had to be cut short. We did talk about the entirety of the Vampire Diaries within one video. The video was an hour and 17 minutes long. But my editing software just wouldn't upload the entire thing to YouTube for some reason. And maybe the file size was too big, maybe the video wasn't compatible. I don't know. So what I'm going to try and do is cut it in 2 pieces instead. So part 1 is where we talk about season 1 to 4. Part 2 is where we talk about season 5 to 8. So stay tuned for those. And if you like more content just like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Remember, you are awesome. Take care.